Podcasting from the South Street Seaport, downtown Lower East Side Manhattan. This is the Brooklyn Baritone Podcast. Good morning, everyone. It's always morning, where I'm recording these productions, but whenever you choose to listen to this, morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, late at night, I always appreciate you even taking the time to give me the likes, the looks, the listens, but I would definitely enjoy you hitting the subscribe notification bell on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone, for the support. But you can do that if you want to, no pressure. And I talked about accountability in the past, but it continually comes up, and I had conversations recently with a few people that's close to me about accountability. We all have personal accountability to make sure everything that we do impacts everyone and everything in the most positive manner. But when we talked about some certain celebrities, I had to shout out Mrs. Jones for having a good, lengthy conversation. She's one of the most recent people I had this conversation with, along with other people, and even had some banter online with other people as well. But going back to what I was saying, accountability with a lot of celebrities, it's been basically, a runaway free-for-all, kind of a money grab in a sense. And I'm going to get to what I mean by that in a second. So, of course, not too long ago, we had Lil Nas X coming out with his, very controversial and eye-opening video. And, of course, you had a lot of parents who had some backlash for that. And Lil Nas X, he went on record saying, well, you're doing a crappy job as a parent. That's not his words verbatim, but that's basically what he said. And that made me think about many artists that actually have taken the same stance. Of course, we had Cardi B doing the same thing. And I remember coming up back in the day, Charles Barkley even had an actual, it sounded like pretty much an advertising campaign saying, I am not your role model. Even had people such as the likes of Marilyn Manson saying the same thing. But these are just people who I thought about. But there are many other artists that say the same thing. Now, we're going to get to this whole thing about parents not being able to control their children or raise their children properly. Now, we have to understand the differences here. Because as a parent, let's say you are a parent who is trying to instill proper values and a certain type of standard into your child, which you should be. As parents, in this current society of where we live, you're only making X amount of dollars. There's not going to be too much parents that's making millions of dollars, okay? You may be making anywhere between 5 to 6 figures a year, and not even in the high 6 figures. And then being the fact that usually most people send their kids to school. So your exposure to your children as a parent is very limited. They may be home at certain X amount of hours, but then during the waking hours now, by the time they wake up, you have to hurry up and scramble, get breakfast, get ready to go to school, you go to work, boom, now they're in the world. And then when they come home from school, when you come home from work, you only have an X amount of waking hours, so you go to sleep again. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot make the most of your time. We're supposed to be accountable for our time. And then you have to make sure that you're doing your best to instill what you know is proper and good into your children. But then now we have that time when they are away from you, even times when they may be in your vicinity, because you have to remember now, entertainment and media is everywhere, even more so than it has been for decades. So we have artists now. They're putting in the work. They're putting in that grind. Their labels are putting in that grind because they want a return on investment now. So you have these artists who know that they're going to get exposure. This is their end game. This is their focus. The more exposure they get, the more deals they get, it means more money for them, more notoriety for them, okay? To get more famous. You're building your brand, basically. The better you build your brand, the higher your return on investment will be for you. So it'll behoove you as an artist to make sure you're out there and putting good, eye-catching content. So now you have you making sure that you're doing the work so you can get all those interview spots on radio shows, TV interviews. You have those television show cameos, appearances. You may even have some movie deals. Okay, now you're making sure that, if you were music artist, you're going to make sure that your song, your production is in heavy rotation. So that means it's in repetitious play with everyone to hear. So you're basically, doing what you need to do to become a household name. So now you have also the entertainment industry, whether recording labels, broadcasting studios, whatever it is. This is $1 billion, trillion industry, easily. And this is the machine that's pushing your face and your song and your voice and your persona to everyone. Again, solidifying the fact that you are now a household name. So now you are doing, and you done did the work to become a household name, to make sure everyone sees you. Billboard sees you. People are talking about you. Social media is running ablaze with your name and your influence. And you're going to have the nerve to say, be a better parent, when you made sure you aligned yourself with this machine to constantly put you in everyone's faces. The only way you're probably going to have to combat that as a parent is probably do proper homeschooling. Not this homeschooling for remote learning. That's not homeschooling. I'm talking about just totally shielding them away from the rest of the world and giving them a proper curriculum and teaching them directly yourself, where they are totally not attached to anything that will influence their minds. So you have parents who are making, again, 5 to 6 figure salaries, but then here you come with the millions and billions and trillions of dollars behind you. You're constantly in people's faces. You have to take accountability, because you did the work to make sure every man, woman, and child knows your name. You did the work. So what are you doing with your influence? Because you have like Cardi B, who was shown on camera to run and turn the radio off or whatever it was that was playing her song WAP. So you making sure other people's children can see that, but then you're going to turn around and say, do a better job as a parent. See, this is the thing with influence and accountability. Because the problem is now it's become so socially acceptable, we give them a pass. Because what have we done? We've allowed this to happen consistently. I'm not saying there was never any pushback. There's still pushback, but so many people have been conditioned. You could go back a couple of podcasts, deinstitutionalize yourself. You have to become a proper thinker. You have to be someone who has that mindset to know what your abilities and talents are and how can you use that talent and ability not to fatten your pockets, but to help other people in any way, shape, or form. Make people live the optimal life they possibly can. Utilize what you have properly to lift people up. We all have to be accountable for what we do, how we do it. And then when you say, someone may look at me and say, well, you know what? You may decide to not use your production or your platform to go a certain route. That's your choice. No, it's not just my choice. We all have a choice, yes, but then it's all of our responsibility to step up. Remember, whether you accept Elohim or not, we are here for dominion. People are in it, unfortunately, for domination, a perversion of dominion. I've talked about this many times before in many other podcasts. Dominion is making sure it's true kingmanship and queensmanship too, queenswomanship, whatever you want to say. That's the true definition of a leader, a royal leader. You're making sure that everything and everyone around you is in the best possible capacity to support a prosperous life. Domination now is taking whatever resources you can get, even your own talents and abilities, just to make sure that you're on top. You see, you can't have it both ways. You can't be a heavy influence and then only accept the money and the praise and the fame that comes along with it. No, you're gonna have to eat the negative things too. You can't just have what you want and forget about the destruction you're leaving behind. And, again, let's wrap it off at just, one thing. I'm not picking on Lil Nas X, but he just happens to be the one that we were talking about the most. He has the nerve to say, be a better parent. Stop having people like us raise your kids, when this guy went to schools and performed for school children. So you already captivated that audience. Again, accountability goes all around. You just don't take the good praise. If you messed up, if you slipped up, if you have had any type of negative impact with anybody, you need to eat that. You need to claim that. You need to rectify that. That's all I got for the day. You can catch the rest of my content on my website, www.brooklynbaritone.com. You could even check that out to see some merchandise you may like. I'm pretty sure there's something for everyone there. I'm also on YouTube. Check out my YouTube channel for more of my content as well and productions. I'm also on LinkedIn under Corey Ashley. You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook. You can catch the rest of my audio content on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music under Podcasts. I'm also broadcasting on local Brooklyn cable television 4 times a week. That's on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12 midnight and 2 p.m. The channels I come on are Verizon, RCN, Spectrum, and Verizon. Anyways, that's all I got. Thank you very much, you guys, for listening and checking me out. I want you guys to be blessed. Walk good. You will hear from me next week. I am out.